In today's video I'm going to show you how to kill, cook, clean and eat some brown crab here. So the first thing that I've done here is just clean them off with some pure water to get off any impurities on the shell. Next up we need a bucket of ice water, or we can also use a fridge. So what we need to do here is essentially calm them down. We put them in ice cold water, that way the temperature drops and you will see they will become a lot more relaxed and easier to handle once we are ready to take their lives. So I have a bucket of ice water here, so I'm going to place it into here for 5 minutes. You can also put them in the freezer for, let's say, 10-15 minutes. That should do the same trick. Also an ice cold towel would do the trick very nicely here. So I'm going to cut off now and I'll see you in about 5 minutes and we'll get ready to end their lives. For this we can either use a knife or a screwdriver, Icepick. I'm going to link to some options down in the video description if you need to buy something. Alright guys, so it's been about 5 minutes since I placed the crab into the ice bucket here. So the next thing we're going to do now is very humanely take their lives. So I'm just going to take these out of the ice bucket one at a time and I'm going to place them facing up. So you can see here, this is a female crab. It is the same process for both male and female. So what we need to do here is open this little hatch or apron as it's called in English. So I'm just going to use this ice pick here, but if you have a screwdriver knife that will be also very useful. Here comes the next part. This is the part where we kill it. We're going to stick the sharp object directly into this hole here. After that we're going to be very fast and we're going to stick it inside the mouth of the crab as well. And this is going to kill them instantly. After that we're going to put them directly in the pot to grill them. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to ring this a little bit around in here. Quickly inside the mouth as well. And the crab is instantly dead. So the next thing you want to note now is that you want to put this directly into the boiling water. So I brought one more crab up here for an example for you guys. And I wanted to show you what to do if you don't have a screwdriver or if you have a tool like a blade. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to cut the crab down the middle here. And it's going to do the same process, sever all the nerve centers, and the crab is going to die instantly. So I'm just going to place this cleaver down here on the middle of the crab. 1, 2, 3, quick and easy, as you will see. Dead crab. So the next step now is that we need to put him directly into the boiling water for about 20 minutes. All right guys, so I'm here in front of the boiling water here. So our family likes to use salt water. This is a little bit more salty than salt water would be. You can also steam them or cook them without salty water. I think salty water adds some nice taste there. So I'm going to add them in here for 20 minutes and then I'll see you afterwards. As you can see now the crabs are just completely dead. By the way, if you want to see a video on how I steam the crab, I can make that for you. I'm going to add a link up here somewhere if I do make it. And the crab is done cooking here. Now we're trying to cool it down here. As you can see, there's a lot of crayfish we're doing at the same time here. So we're just cooling it down with some cold water out here on the boathouse. And if you don't have a boathouse and a lot of crayfish, you can also just place it into a pot and it should be cooled off, just, you know, room temperature. Even you can put it in the fridge probably if you want to. All right guys, it's been a couple of hours here. The crab has actually been in the fridge to cool down. I'm going to show you this process on the full crab. Just remember, it's the same process on the halved one, just that you need to do everything twice, right? For this, we'll need a few tools. I've cleaned off the bench here. Also have some paper available. Need something to put all the crab meat into. We need our knife that we use to kill the crab. That you don't need a butcher's knife, the regular one is fine. Also, I'm going to use a lobster fork here. If you don't have a lobster fork, you can use a screwdriver. You can use a little knife, just be careful that you don't hurt yourself. Or you can use the ice pick that we use to the crab. Also, we need something to break through the shell. For this, I am going to recommend a wooden mallet. That's the most effective in that it doesn't shatter the shells and push it into the meat. You can use a regular hammer as well, but in that case, I would try to maybe tape some a towel or something onto it so that it dampens the blow as you hit the shell of the crab. Nutcracker would be fine. Just keep in mind, it's the same thing with the shattering, right? If you're going to start breaking a crab's claw, what's going to happen is that once you break the shell, you're going to press the shells into the meat and it may be difficult to get it out. So I recommend wooden mallet, but it's up to you really. Beyond that, we also need a bucket to discard our shells in. We don't want them laying all over here and get mixed in with the meat. I guess it's time to get started. So the first thing that we want to do here is open up the apron and we're simply going to break it all off like that. Simple and easy. And this is discarded. Now you can take all the shells and you can make soup of them later. I'm going to put it all in a bucket here and collect them. Next part, once you remove the apron, is that you can take your finger here inside the back of the apron here, and you can simply pull off the shell. Just make sure you don't shatter it and hurt your fingers, of course. So there we go. Here you can see now we have the crab in 2 parts. In here you will find a lot of brown meat that you can pick out, and this is also very edible. It's very delicious. Maybe place it to the side. It has a very strong taste compared to the regular crab meat. So if you're new, maybe be a little bit careful. Once you've picked out all the brown meat, or muster as some people like to call it, we're going to discard off the top of the shell here. Next part here is that we have the crab. So you can see it's the same here. This is brown meat as well. This is also very edible. So if you want to pick that off and place it into your little bucket here, or skål, don't remember the English word, you can do so. Our next step here is that we want to look at the gills. The gills, they look like this. It's almost like fingers. These are inedible, so these ones you just pick off and you discard of them, throw them in the trash. Not really any good. Tastes like feathers if you try to eat them, so not recommended unless you like raw birds. At this point we're also going to break off the mouth of the crab down here. As you can see, this is pretty simple, just crack it off and also discard of it. Once you cleaned off everything on your crab here, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to clean up the block here a little bit, butcher's block, so that we don't get all this sauce mixed in with our meat. So the next step here is that we're going to break off the claws, just the big ones like that, both sides. If you just turn them, they're going to come off really easily like that. Place these to the side, as we'll be working with them later. Here we are going to cut the shell of the crab up. So now you need your knife. Again, if you cut it at 2 when you killed it, you don't need this step, but like that. And from here you can cut it in along the claws. Usually I do every second claw, so you split it down the middle, like that. And this one only had 2 claws, sadly. Let's do it the same way with that one, that. And this is the part where we're going to start picking out the meat from the body of the crab. So for this you will need your little knife, or preferably a lobster fork. Again, I'm going to add links to all the stuff that I am using here in this video, in case you want to purchase any of it. What you want to do is just start picking out all the meat. You can find it all along the little crevices here. At this point you want to be very careful that you don't mix in any of the shell with the meat. It's very easy here because the shells on this part of the crab is a lot thinner than the rest of the crab. So just dig all the way in there. By the way, don't be afraid to use your knife to cut further into the shells here. There is a lot more meat to be had in some of these little crevices. So yeah, just keep picking until you got it all out. Alright guys, so I'm going to be honest with you, I don't usually keep these small legs. It's a lot of work for very little meat. I usually just use them for soup if I want to keep them. I will show you how to break them down though. So what you want to do here is pop each of the joints apart like this. First the one, big one, that's the one with the most meat, this one. So then you take your crab fork or knife, whatever you have available, and you can pretty much just push the meat out the same way that you did with the main body meat here. As you can see, there is some, not a whole lot, but still delicious. The main attraction, the claws. So usually you can just tear this apart with the same like twisting motions as you did before. So I'm going to take the lower joint off. This one is usually a little bit harder to get off. So what you can do here is crush the front off first. So I'm going to take my mallet here, and you want to be gentle here. And we simply pop it a little bit at the side, like that. That's plenty. You can do the other side too if you want to. And that usually releases this joint off from the rest. So then you can pop this one as well. It's very simple. Crack it gently, that, and the back joint as well. And that's all you need to crack. Now you can just pull it off and the meat comes out. If the meat has any problem coming out on its own, you can use your crab fork again. And the middle joint, it's the same thing. Open it, and we can use our little fork here. Get all the meat out of there. Discard of this again. Now the front claw, I do this a little bit differently. I usually just take each of the pinchers and wring it off like that, and you can pick it apart like this. One thing I will say though about the meat inside the pinchers, It is a little bit different to the meat that you will find in the rest of the crab. It's very like gelatinous. I don't usually eat this. Some people like it. There is some inside this claw as well. Up to you if you want to keep it or not. And this one slices off just like the rest. Sorry, I can't help myself. It's so delicious. By the way, I also recommend that you check through all the meat for shells and like bone fragments before you eat it, as it's very unpleasant to find it inside the meat while you're eating it, or even worse if you're serving it to somebody else. All the shells, once you're done using them, if you want to make soup or if you just want to toss them, I recommend that you toss them into the sea if you can, otherwise the trash, it's good for the sea to get it back. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. I'm gonna make a whole lot more. I made one on how to handle crabs, how to hold them, how to cook lobsters, how to cook crayfish. It's a lot on this channel. So if you're into working with seafood, make sure to subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.